Yeah, I'm getting confused with, I see these names, then the next time I think, they're gone.
No,
They're gone.
They're still living, they're still here.
I mean, they're gone, they're not on this board, and I
think one is the guy, no, the other guy joining.
Yes. He is.
As well and see if
Yeah.
join us.
Yeah, a little bit jobs.
Yeah. See if more is able to join us.
I think Realty Coastal Building is well. I also think for them as residents probably the rentals, property management.
They're into vacation rental. They're into. There's another office in the same building down the way on vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, how I was. I didn't really associate with communities. You thought initially that you might be related to Judy.
Well, no, I'm not. When I first moved in here and I was given her name and we first met about something, we talked, but no, as far as we know, there's no.
It's unusual.
I know. I'm from, we moved here from South Georgia. Thomasville.
You're always in Thomasville. Beautiful town.
Yeah, the woods. I go and see the woods. They own flowers in Thomasville. Yeah, we ride in front of the land.
Lots of my daughter, who is now 36, when she was growing up, she was in the pony club and she rode and did hunts.
Yeah,
It's very the same people then.
Daphne's very involved in the pony club. So
yeah.
She had her 80th. No, I think she might be just about her 80th birthday. I think it was her 79th on Monday or something this week. Yeah, that's all guys. The whole family seems to be along.
So it's not only small around St. Augustine, it's actually quite small around Thomasville.
We still have a home there.
Oh, you do?
And our two children have actually had a chance to rent it.
You ever get paid for it?
Yes, not at full rental value, but renting and so.
Yeah, but let us know when we're officially online and starting. We'll stop.
Just discovered we all noticing people.
Oh, whoa! It's a what do they call it? 6 degrees of separation. There we go. Let me tell you, it's a small world. So it's officially 4:31. I'm just let's give it a couple more minutes for Rick to join. I'll go ahead and give.
When you're recording. Or when have you started?
It started recording. Just keeping. I can see it too on co-host. It says Laura's joining.
Pregnant for. She's up in Jacksonville. Going to do her best to try and join us. But I think the internet went down in here from the looks of it.
Yeah, I spend from mid-October through to mid-March going up and down to Thomasville all the time. I stay at some other hotels and meet up. So I'm there once a week. They quite like St. George. Have you been to is it St. George and new restaurant?
James.
St. James. There's a new restaurant just outside the town at the side, which is really nice.
South of town, correct?
I don't know whether it's south or north. It's
towards Tallahassee.
It's on the side towards Tallahassee.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
So I always come up from 19, and in that, that's my
Right.
We go to Liam's a lot.
Yeah, Williams is good. Yeah,
Williams is
yeah,
good.
and
And then the fish place next to
No,
it.
it's
Jonah.
Jonah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
dry, so we don't tend to go there.
It's a great place to raise children. It's not a great place for 20-somethings who are looking for, that's more Atlanta.
Yeah.
But it's a great place to raise children, and we moved down here 4 years ago, just after COVID. I was
They haven't noticed. It hasn't joined us.
as I was not. I was actually my wife, except she's in nursing. She's been in nursing for all her career, and she works at Flagler now, managing the orthopedic floor here. And so she moved out. She came in here for a job, and I was just going to commute on the weekends, but long story. We've been down here 4 years. We love it, and we'll eventually move back to Thomasville.
Well, similarities
At some
between
point.
the town,
At some
town
point.
centre and Thomasville.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's obviously a lot more here. We've been here
20 years.
20 years now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
changed a lot in those 20 years.
It's still really nice living here.
Yeah.
It's very easy to make friends. It's easy communities.
Here.
Unless you have a fence. And then
Are you, Laura, are you in? Can you hear?
a wobbler.
Laura, can you hear?
I think because the internet
Yeah.
goes.
But then,
It's
We'll
falling.
let
Laura, let us know if you can hear. Sure, she's joined.
So Laura, your daughter,
Yes.
she owns the
Yeah,
unit?
with us.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we own it together.
Oh,
The joint ownership.
Yeah. She was living in it for quite a while, but then her job took her up to Jacksonville. She was finding the commute was getting hard for her because she had to be in, she's actually a regional director of a property management company.
Okay.
So she goes to these meetings and these things all the time. But some of them, some of the communities that she's in charge of, they're right north of Jacksonville, and the commuting is becoming. So in the end, she moved up to Jacksonville.
had to hear it bad enough.
Oh, I know.
Laura, can you hear?
I can hear now. I had to switch devices.
Yeah, nothing started yet. We're just chatting before the meeting. Deirdre, I think is private sector. We're waiting for one person, but we're just sort of informally chatting about other things, nothing to do with.
Laura, can you see anything, or is it just audio?
No, I can see. I can see. I just, again, for some reason, my computer, the audio wasn't working, but I switched to my phone. I can hear and see.
The internet does seem to be kind of coming and going.
Oh,
here.
it's so loud. Hang on.
We're waiting for
Rick.
Rick. Yeah, we're waiting for Rick. He is the ARC person. And we have, is it less or less? It's less.
Less.
You just pronounced it less or less?
Less.
Less and wrong.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Oh, hi. Hi. Talking to the machine.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it from this side, it looks like you're talking to an owl. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was waiting to see you.
Oh, wow. That is a big picture of my face on a screen. Oof.
It is. It is.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
We're still waiting for Rick.
Rick's not.
I have him on the phone right now. He just got done with the client, so give us 1 second.
How long is your good for?
Everybody's patient.
I'm good for about a half hour or so. I'm good.
Okay. They shouldn't. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, I have a board meeting taking place tonight. It's just not great. But I'm good for half an hour. I'm glad there's a Zoom option.
Yeah, it makes life easier.
Ron and I were just talking about Thomasville, where I go and hide. He's from Thomasville, apparently.
Oh, okay.
All well, they're some of the same people.
Yeah, riding community must be pretty small, I would imagine. Everybody
Well, I don't
seems.
think you don't ride, do you? Your
No,
daughter did.
no,
His daughter was pony club, and that being who we go up and see. She's very involved in the pony club and has been for years. Are you still
So
there?
look- Yeah, no, I'm here. It looks like it's going to rain here in Jacksonville. Is it raining in St. Augustine?
It's looking like.
No, it looks like it might.
It's
Did you get the terrible storm last night?
Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
I thought you were talking about very
No, Laura.
Deirdre says that she doesn't attend ARC meetings, so she will be, as soon as Rick's coming, then she will be dropping out.
Laura, just to bring up to speed, Ron and Les tell us that two of the board members of the ARC resigned recently, I think in April. And that would be Babs Moore and Edith Hayes, the two ladies that did the site thing with us and approved everything. And also one of the board members resigned. I can't remember his first name, I think his last name was Wilson. So now there's two board members
this year.
and there's one ARC member. But Ron and Les said they are here to represent the ARC. So just trying to bring up speed, okay?
Okay, everyone, this is Deidre Jones with Coastal Realty. Rick, waiting on Rick to join. As I stated to all parties, this meeting is going to be recorded for purposes of me being able to capture meeting minutes, okay? I'm going to step out as soon as Rick starts. I will call the meeting to order, then step out as soon as Rick joins. Whenever he joins. Okay. I've admitted you all 3 times.
Where's Rick in Jacksonville?
I don't know where he is. There we go. Okay. All right, so it is 4:40, May 8th. I'll officially call this ARC meeting for Islander Townhome Association to order. Thank you.
Okay, Rick.
Since Rick is with us, we do have a quorum. Rick, can you hear us? Rick? Can you hear us, Rick?
Volume. You got a pen? Yeah, where's the camera?
Isn't the camera here? I don't know what the camera is.
Rick, can you hear? He's talking, but I have volume.
Let me get Deidre. She can call him.
Let me just check something.
Rick, this is Ron. Can you hear? You can hear me? We can't hear you. We cannot hear you. Can you check your volume? No.
Rick, this is Deidre. I don't know if you could hear me, but, oh, he logged out.
Can he log back in? Deidre? Deidre, can you hear? What did, was she gonna?
She says he has to unmute himself.
Yeah, it looked like he was unmuted. I think maybe he just needed to connect to a microphone. I mean, I know he was on his phone, but that's what it looked like. Because it showed that he was unmuted, but it wasn't showing the sound, because it shows in the microphone, it goes up and down. It wasn't reading that for some reason.
Okay, but he is going to rejoin us.
I think he's trying.
You don't get away that easily.
Bless her heart, she's hurting. She's been into
2 accidents,
car accidents
Oh, you're
this year.
joking.
2 wrecked.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
There we go. Rick, you're on mute.
well, that's very bad. What is that?
Yeah, and the second one was in my brand new car 4 days after I got it.
No, we can see him.
Is it a write-off?
Yeah, they were able to. They were able to.
He might be there.
Rick, are you there now?
Second.
He's not on mute. Can you, so you're calling in, right? Not doing video, you're just calling in?
Oh, see, Rick says mute
No,
right alongside.
no. So
No.
he's not, that's if I want to mute him because I'm the host. This is me at my desk, and that was to get it started when it wasn't working here.
There he is. And video.
He's gonna call in. Yeah, and sometimes you know sometimes we run into some issues. I remember when COVID first started and the kids had to go through and do virtual. It was the worst thing in the world.
You know, it was awful. My son was doing it too. It was just a mess.
My daughter had to do it through Teams, and this is a straight A student. She on Monday got accepted to the National Honor Society for Florida. So that just goes to show you. But they were like, she's failing, and I'm like, how? Because I'm working from home. I could hear her crying because the rooms weren't working. The teachers didn't know how. It was horrible.
So depressing. Wasn't it?
Yeah, but I say technology is great until it's not. So you know,
True. Everything is great.
until it, yeah, until
So
someone figures out how to hack into it or you know whatever. So with I tell myself with each great advancement comes a great downfall too.
So I think I said I have a board meeting at 5:30 that has the Zoom option, and I was so nervous because there's always something. I went and I tested it twice today. I'm like, I need to make sure no issues. I know, I guarantee something's still going to happen.
Do you find, Laura, that with your board meetings that a lot of people are now coming from Zoom and they're not like coming in person?
Almost all of the communities. So a lot of the HOAs are opting for only virtual because they found that they got more attendance. But the ones that do the virtual and the in-person, even like where I am today, even people that live on site prefer to do it from home because they can, you know, I think they can put their feet up, they can play with their dogs, they can have a drink, and almost everyone that has the Zoom option has higher turn up. Because the Zoom just seems to be everyone's preferred.
I think it might be
great. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Do you generally get like in the tens or hundreds of in some of the bigger communities of zooming in? There's normally a small amount.
Well, I mean, because most of the communities aren't all that big, but we usually, for the bigger ones, it's usually about 20% of the community will come via Zoom. I mean, you're lucky if you get that many people turning up to meetings. Most people don't care in general, but yeah, the Zoom people seem to much prefer that. It wasn't very popular when it first came out. It took a little bit of a learning curve, but once COVID was over and the option to do it in person came back, basically everybody was just like, nope. Now at this point, we prefer it virtual.
Well, it saves you driving there, everything, doesn't it? You know, you can just get it done. And...
Going back to here, I don't think we've actually started. We're still waiting for Rick. But Ron was explaining earlier that the reason we are here, rather than Oh, you've already got one, okay. It's because of the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she came online.
Okay, I think that's.
Why do we need it recorded? Isn't it just gonna be in the minutes?
Deirdre, those that she does the minutes afterwards.
She says she uses the recording in order to do the minutes afterwards.
So how do they, I'm just purely curious.
She's not
So what-
attending the
so-
meeting.
so
She's
what
not
happens-
attending the meeting. She
No,
doesn't
I know
attend
that,
the
but
ARC
how-
meetings.
Right, so how does that work on the Saturday meetings? You just use her account?
I don't know, Steve
Did the
just walked
football
back in, ask her.
I'm just totally curious.
Well, I will ask her, she's here now, I don't know. Deirdre, Laura's asking why you're recording the meeting, and I said you said it's for the minutes, and she was just curious how that works on a Saturday if you don't go to the meetings.
I would have recorded it for Saturday. I would have had someone record it on there, given them access as co-host.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, yeah. I
Yeah.
was just curious.
No worries. All right, so, Rick, are you there? You're muted again.
I'm not muted.
There we
Hey,
go.
Can you,
All
can you hear
right.
me?
Okay,
Yes.
okay. it's
Fine.
4:49.
Sorry.
Meeting officially
Sorry.
Okay, the meeting has started. We do have a quorum, thanks to you, Rick. And
Right.
so the meeting we are now functioning as the ARC, based on resignation of 2 previous members. And the purpose of today's meeting is to address the new submittal of the request for 177. Is there anything y'all would like to, I mean,
You need to introduce these.
pardon me?
Does he need to know?
Rick, you can hear us, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I just wondered if you need-
no, I mean, nothing really, to know. You can hear me, right?
Okay.
Yeah, nothing really to know. I mean, obviously we installed the fence, you know, the location being what was approved. It was installed, I think there was a typo on my contractor's quote, but we did make sure that it matched the fences that were there. We made sure that it was the exact height of the one that it tied into. So, I mean, that's just kind of, you know, that's it.
Well, it's not. Your billing says for a 3-foot fence, you have a 4-foot fence installed.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is the purpose of the meeting to reject this or to approve it? Because it's only about relevant to the moment in relation to the current application.
Based on, if we go back in time, the initial request that came in was approved based on the dimensions and everything that was submitted. Based on that, it was approved. After the approval, it was discovered that the dimensions were not what they were said to be. So therefore, that's the reason for this meeting, to let you know that this would not be approved unless there was some changes made. If you, and I don't know, and I don't guess it's relevant whether or not the builder built it incorrectly, or if it was built according to these specs, disregarding what was originally submitted. I don't know the answer to that. The result would be it will not be approved based on the way it is now, because it was not, the original was approved, but this would not be unless it matches, unless it goes back to what the original submittal.
Okay, so the application, okay, so the old application, you know, gone, it's over. This is a new application. Now, this application obviously is the height that is installed right now, which is the exact same height as number 53 and as number 49, and as a couple of other fences in the community. It's the same height as what was already in there. It's
But
also the same height as the fence that it ties into.
Actually, that's irrelevant though. The initial,
It's not irrelevant though,
we
because
have-
it's,
I have 9 units here that all have the picket fence at 3 feet. We have no, we
Yeah, I'm
have
confused.
fence that's 4 feet in the community.
You have multiple
Yeah, I'm
fences that are
confused
4
by
feet,
that.
and you have multiple fences that are 4 feet in the community.
It's not but
And you also-
respectfully, it's not multiple fences. It's the picket white fence that we want to have the. I mean, speaking as an art guy, I would refrain. Part of me is refraining, but to me, what missed on the submittal was an exact elevation and drawing. If I would have liked to have seen to be really clear, but it does give a clear dimension. And I went around myself and measured all the picket fences. This is a specific fence for a specific purpose, and there's only like 2 or 3 on the whole community. It's really, respectfully, not that hard to match it. It's 3-foot picket fence everywhere in the community, and we want to keep that same look throughout the community.
So I do this for a living, so I do get where you're coming from. This is what I do for a living. So there are multiple that are the same height, but there's also it's kind of not relevant because the association documents, the published guidelines actually say there's no height restriction. So there actually is no way to approve or deny based on a height, based on the way that the documents are actually written. So what it does say is, match what's existing, which we have, but there is actually no height restriction, period. There's some that are 6 foot tall, there's some that are 3 foot tall, there's some that are 4 foot tall. We're the 4 foot tall group that's already in there, but there is nothing that says.
6 foot walls are privacy walls, they're not fences.
Oh no, there are fences in there. But again, there are multiple different heights, and the documents as they're written do not actually have any height stipulation whatsoever.
But this has no bearing on what we're discussing today.
But it does, because you have an application in front of you, and height is actually not something that the board has, or the ARC has the approval to even talk upon, because it's not something that legally is included in any document for Islander.
Well, you were requested a 3-foot fence and you agreed upon it, then you put
Okay.
a 4-foot fence up, so now you want to apply for a 4-foot fence.
The one who was there at the time, can I speak on this issue? Laura, are you happy with me butting in on this issue?
Yeah, no, of course.
There was multiple things on the document which was wrong, which were put in by Matanzas because he'd never seen it. And this Matanzas fence is the one that has the notes.
It's the estimate.
Says 3 feet right on there.
Are you going to actually listen?
Are you going to listen or are you?
Good.
Okay.
I met with 2 ARC members on the premises, and we discussed all of this there, that they were aware of on there. There's also no lag bolts, there's also no wooden fence. There was a number of things on that, and it was agreed with previous ARC on site that was approved, and they would write it up and would approve it. And I have actually spoken to the ARC, one of them since, and they confirmed that this is how they agreed it, as is, that it was done on site, and then there was no stipulation as to a 3-foot height put into the document. The only thing that was put into the document was the
Match existing fences, which are the white.
and then you published several days after the approval, the guidelines, and there's no height restriction in that.
You posted all over the community in your board that match existing in white vinyl, picket fences in white vinyl, and privacy fences in white
vinyl.
vinyl.
The height
And
specifically discussed with
displayed
the
there
ARC,
today.
along with various other things, which I appreciate you weren't there and you may not have realised. But it was height. We didn't just go off and do this willy-nilly. This was done, and it isn't actually.
It's a very expensive thing to install a fence, so we're highly unlikely to deviate from it, given the amount of cost to do that. Furthermore, as my husband pointed out, and as my daughter is pointing out to you at the moment, there is nothing in the guidelines that says about height, but
And it was approved.
But this document you're referring to is an estimate, and that is all that is. And as Mark has pointed out, there are many changes to that estimate, and those changes were made because the previous ARC members attended the site, walked through it with my husband, said, "We don't put a gate down here at the back down to the lake. It's not necessary. You don't need to have a removable panel here. We thought we might need one so that the lawnmowers could come through," which is why that was shown on there. Then Edie and Babs came down and they said, "No, completely unnecessary. Match it in to the height of the railing, and you just need to be a removable panel." Fine, we'll make that change. When we officially get it built, we will make that change.
What real exactly
And
talking about?
You know when you
The
have
black fence?
no, you know at the back of the community, you have where people have barbecues, right? And then you've got a privacy fence to the left. Then you've got a space that goes down to the railing that goes around
We can
the lake.
we can talk
Okay.
we can talk all day, but nothing changes from the fact that the original application that was submitted was approved.
Well, I have to tell you, Ron, that it was approved. As my daughter has said.
Just what I said, it was.
No, it was approved as it currently is installed, and we do have that we were trying to avoid. We are trying to avoid litigation with you. We want to deal with this. We are all neighbors. This is a spurious argument after the event, but we do have from the previous ARC, yes, that it is installed as it was approved. And if we take this to mediation or we take this to litigation, then we will use that. Thank you.
We have lawyers too.
Well, it doesn't matter. We've got the approval of the ARC. We haven't done.
Where's this approval?
Rick,
We
for the purpose of this meeting, I'm showing fence number 53, which was discussed so I'm just getting in here because I was the person who was with two ARC members. That fence we talked about was visible from where we were looking at our fence, and we discussed it, and we discussed the height, and we discussed that we were going to go to the same height. This is 49. That was also visible on the day from there, and we discussed that height, which comes to the top of the railing.
Which Babs and Edie both agreed with and said, yes, that is the
No,
height.
this isn't what we're talking about. I'm just going to your point. This isn't part of the meeting that took place. But that is number 324. That is also not 36.
324 is not Islander, that's the condos. They have their own board. We told you that 3 times before. We don't take care of that.
I have spoken to the condos, and they said that that fence is on HOA property and nothing to do with the condos. That's not. They say that's on their land.
Well, how could they?
Anyway, it's irrelevant. All I'm doing is I'm showing.
It's not irrelevant. You're discussing something that doesn't.
All I'm doing is pointing out that around in the community, which is your guideline, it matches a lot of fences.
No, it's not. I have 9 units here that all have the 3-foot fence. That's a 4-foot fence. How could that match? It's 4 feet tall.
We can go.
Let's defer back to our
we can go.
We could go measure these fences with you. Show you.
Well,
It's just
for the sake of the meeting today, none of you can disagree or whatever, but none of this is relevant because the initial was approved. If it was approved and it was the way it should have been, we would not be having this meeting today. Because of that, we are not approving the second one that was sent in.
What about
You have.
You delete.
But there's no basis to deny the second one.
Okay. And Laura, take it.
The only option you have at this point is nothing will be done for 30 days. If the fence is not modified within 30 days.
We can't.
But with all due respect, though, there's no data.
Yeah. Okay. Laura,
Please. Yeah, again, I'm really, please understand, I'm really not trying to be argumentative with any of you guys. I know this, for some reason, has got argumentative, and I don't know why, because again, this seems like such a silly conversation to have. There is no legal basis to deny the application. There is nothing in our rules at all, anywhere, that has fence heights. So you cannot deny it based on the height.
We can deny it on the basis that it was initially approved.
No, but sir, that was the first
application. Is
application.
not what is showing.
That's fine, and that's.
Your option at this point is to at the end of 30 days, there'll be a fine levied.
Okay, but sir, this is a new application. This is a new application, and you have.
You can take that. Excuse me. You can take that to the compliance committee if you're not happy, but the maximum that will be incurred as fines would be $1,000, or you could pay, and if that's you have those options.
Okay, again, there is no basis to deny this new application with the height. There is no height restriction. There is also, again, Daddy, please.
Members copy.
I don't need a copy of anything.
Florida statute
We-
720-3035.
Well, that's fine, but I don't
want
need
on the
that.
record that we have given it to you.
But I, with all due respect, I think you kind of do need it because Florida statute is very clear that you can't deny anything unless it's specifically written out in the policy and the guidelines that are shared with the community. And the guidelines that are shared in the community have zero height restrictions.
This
So
would
I-
not be happening if what we agreed upon was in fact built, and it was
Okay.
not.
I think you're conflating two different conversations though.
Well,
We
you
have
also
a
attached another
brand new
piece of
copy.
comments. 2 days later, you took it off.
This is not relevant to this
This has zero to do with this.
We-
application.
Why was that fence installed?
This has zero to do with this discussion.
Could I also draw to your attention a letter on behalf of the board sent to me on Monday, the 31st of the 3rd by Deirdre Jones, saying it's on behalf of the board, who stated, to resolve this issue, you have two options. Number one, reduce the fence to the approved height of 3 feet, or resubmit your ARC application with the current specifications of the recently installed non-compliant fence. We submitted it. This is it.
We denied
And
it.
we denied it.
But there's no legal basis to deny it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
After you could resubmit a second one for something that was already approved in the first place.
Well, because that's pretty
That was
typical.
really
This stuff.
what was written or what you were approved for.
This
You-
is fairly typical. This stuff happens a lot. I do this for a living. It happens a lot, and it's usually a pretty standard practice. Let's get the paperwork in order. All right, resubmit. Okay, approved. As long as it's approvable. In this case, if the fence hadn't been installed and it was submitted exactly as it is right now, it would have to be approved because there's no reason for it legally to be denied. So again, I'm confused as to why we are having this conversation right now.
We're having the conversation because the fence is not what was agreed upon initially.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Again, I
Gotta keep
disagree.
everything-
I disagree because the ARC told us to do exactly what we have done. The ARC who have now resigned, they told us, and I have in writing, to do exactly what we have done. However, if there is no fence right now, we haven't installed it, nothing has happened, and we submitted it exactly as it is installed right now, which is effectively what we're doing on this meeting, the committee would have to approve it. There's no basis to deny it. So I get you're upset that it deviated, but you can't not approve it.
We're respectfully, where do you say we can, and educate me here, and I'm not Rick, and let me speak for a minute. I think, to me, this is a silly thing because it should clearly match all the other picket fences that are out there. It's just, and I'm in the industry as well for a living, so I get that. You keep throwing that. I am very much in the industry as well, but architecturally, to keep a community uniform, that's the purpose of what we do. And I wasn't a part of this one, so I'm coming in late, but just speaking outside, I would have wanted to see a drawing and specifics and heights, and it would have clearly been rejected if it wasn't the same height as all the white picket fences that are on the community. So to argue that it's the same fence, it's clearly not.
Okay, so I think, yeah, so again, just
It's
to
clearly
talk on
not.
that point. Okay, to talk on that, so again, you and I, clearly we're both kind of doing the same thing. So if the guidelines had said all fences, every single picket fence in the community has to be 36 inches, and it's written out there, okay, but it doesn't say that. It says match what's existing, and the community has multiple different heights all around the property, and there's zero anywhere that says a height restriction. We have it in writing, there is no height restriction. The document that is shared, our guidelines, has no height restriction. And again, there are so many different fence heights, including pickets.
Do the guidelines, but does the guidelines require you to submit to get approval on whatever you do in order to place it in place?
It does, and it says that it does
Okay.
say that, and that's what
So
we've
that's
done.
the purpose of the role is for us to make sure that the community does stay cohesive. And I'm just new to the neighborhood. It doesn't match. If everybody just said, oh, you keep saying it doesn't have that height. So what does that mean? So they can build an 8-foot high fence and it's okay? I mean, that's kind of
Yes.
like, it's the kind of common sense to me.
Well,
on what the type of fence. Let me talk.
I beg your
Can you let me talk? Yeah, but will you let me finish before you step in? Because to be fair of this conversation, and I don't mean to be argumentative either, and I wanted to originally abstain from this because I wasn't part of it, but to me, you're arguing a point that's like so common sense to anybody in design and architecture and construction and real estate. The fences for this application are all 36 inches. The gray fences are for a different application. The white fences are in the back patios. They're a different application. They're not the same fence. That you can't just broadly just say, I can put a fence. And I think that was the argument on, we just wanted to match existing on the original one. It doesn't now. And I mean, isn't it a quick fix? Can't you sink that thing 6 inches and you're there or whatever it is? Did you just drop the fence?
One question at the moment. Will you please get one of the people in the board to hand to me the document that states there is a height restriction of 36 inches, because I've had it in writing multiple times that there isn't, and I've had 2 ARC members tell me that we can put the fence in at that height. If you will produce the document,
I've never seen anything. So do you have anything is that formalized somewhere that I'm missing? Because I'm picking up on old history as well, but I'm just coming in new. But
Really?
just common
That's
sense to me is match
It's
existing.
very evident. You're all picking up on some version of events that
The first application gave matching existing these fences, and that's just why, and it was okay for that.
And it matches.
So these don't match.
Like a picket fence, it matches.
Your argument is that anybody can put any fence they want at any size in the community. Is that what your argument is?
as
Our
all the
statement is?
documents are at the moment, yes. If you want a 36-inch rule, you have to.
I doubt.
And then afterwards,
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. That doesn't make sense.
If the board want to issue something with new bylaws and these regulations, then that's fine. But at the time,
We're not.
now you can't just
You were at the art meeting, you agreed with the 3-foot fence, so why did you put a 4-foot
I
fence?
wasn't at the art, I met them.
Right.
I met them on
You didn't
site.
go to the art meeting, you weren't at an art meeting.
I was on site.
and they
I met
came
them.
to our site.
And they have told me they approved it. I said,
You were supposed to be at the pool that day, but
All
you
right,
went on
let
site.
me,
Hang on a
I
minute.
didn't take place.
We were not invited.
But you I'm out, it was supposed to be, but you went on site instead.
Do you just want to sit
Oh,
there?
you just want to argue that.
let me,
No, I'm just asking a question, I'm not arguing.
No, you're actually quite.
No, I'm just trying to get this straight here, because usually they have the art
He
meeting.
looks up something else completely arbitrary about
Fine, but even-
that has zero to do with this discussion.
let me just say this. We can be here till midnight and nothing is gonna change. We reject this, and the options are, as I stated earlier. And that's the only option we have.
But that's illegal. What you're suggesting is illegal.
Well,
It's unlawful, my dear.
Okay.
I handed you Florida statute, which was passed in 2024, which stipulates that you can't do this.
we are,
So on what
we are
authority are you doing it on? Please give us the
So
stated
give me a
authority and the
based,
statute that allows
based
us
on,
to do
based
it.
on the fact that it goes simple. This meeting would not even be happening if what you built was what was listed. What was built is different than what we approved.
No, we think you're.
Okay,
No,
but you now have-
what was built, what is standing there now is different than what we approved.
So what is standing there now
And
is
so
what
we
was
are-
approved
if
by
that-
the
if that
ARC
is-
members
If,
at the
if
time
your
you bought the
fence is
property.
amended, if your fence is amended, you can amend your fence over the next 30 days and we're good.
Suggesting. So-
Go back to your original submittal.
So hold on, you're asking us to reduce the height of the fence to 36
You
inches.
can-
Is that what I'd like specifically to know what you're asking.
Right.
Leave the fence as it is, but according to Rick, bury it however many inches to make it 36 inches, or chop all the top of it off. Is that what you're asking us to
Replace it
do?
with a proper fence.
Is that what you're asking us to
I'm
do? Chop
asking you to
it
do
off?
whatever you have to do
Okay.
to make it
I'm
about.
Okay.
asking you to give me the document where that.
And, if that's done in the next 30 days, then we're
Okay, well,
fine.
when you put that in the minutes of your meeting, if that's what you
She'll write
want
them,
us to
she'll write
do,
them up.
then we will take our legal opinion on it. And if you're right, we will look into it. And if you are wrong, which we believe you to be, we will deal with it accordingly.
Well, you have 30 days to do that, and then there'll be a fine of $100
You can't-
per day.
You can't.
And
I don't find us on this.
You don't
Well,
have.
we can levy that, you don't have to pay it, we can levy that.
You need to familiarize yourself.
I think you need to learn the law, including the fact that you don't even have enough directors by law.
Yeah, you don't have 3 directors.
We have
on the
3.
board.
We
He's
have
not a
3.
director.
He's not a director.
He's on the board, yes, he
He
is.
is now a director.
He's, no,
He's on the
no,
committee.
no, no.
On the art committee.
No,
Is he a board?
no, he is not, no, he's on the.
You don't have a
You
legal
have
role.
to treat.
Okay, again, just forget the old
You
application.
don't have
I am
even
asking
3
you guys,
board members, so you're not
Guys.
even an official
nine.
board.
So,
Another thing
okay.
that you're not adhering
You
to.
have all the answers.
nine.
Well, we
No,
all know the law.
Parliament.
Your lawyers too.
We don't have to have 3,
No,
we are
you're
looking to get a
I
3rd.
said, you know everything, he just said.
Decided by law.
Clearly you don't. You should be.
Well, why do we have an art committee?
Three.
Is it just-
We need
There
to,
should be 3 people on the argument.
we
Yeah,
need,
let our daughter finish because she's the homeowner
we
here.
need,
And she
Well,
wants
let's
to-
turn it over to our attorneys, let them think.
we need.
So I just would like, again, forget the first application, the second application right now. I just would like to know exactly what basis, and again, you cannot use the first application because it is completely irrelevant. On this second application, on what basis are you denying the height?
Oh, because we want a 36-inch fence
On what basis?
to keep uniformity with the community that all 9 other people who applied for it have a 36-inch fence.
So all the other fences, I'm assuming, are uncompliant.
Yes,
Okay.
I've got 9 units that have the 36-inch fence. The 7-foot tall, 6-foot tall, they're privacy walls for the patio. They're not fences, they're put in by K&B. And they're not fences, they don't encapsulate anything, they're not gated, they're not
They were
fenced in
by
properly.
K&B. We've owned property since the beginning. They were adding afterwards.
Okay, so other than
The back.
other than the privacy fences that don't enclose anything, you're telling me every fence that does enclose, that is not 36 inches, and there are several of them, are not in compliance.
But this is the weirdest conversation to me. Respectfully, this is crazy talk. I mean, we just want you to match all the feather picket fences that's used on the property. Why is that so hard? And that's what the first. I mean, I'm just talking as people to people. You're very argumentative, and it sucks your contractor didn't make it right. But it's just common sense. You just look and walk the community of the tide.
We don't want to, we don't want it to have to fine or anything. We're just saying, make it right and everything is fine.
Yeah, like, I don't want to be.
I
I don't want to be argumentative either. We're all neighbors. This is, to me, this whole thing is just silly and it's just a shame because, you know, I love that community. I think it's great. I've always loved it. I'm going to continue to love it for decades. I think, and I get your point, you know, it's nice to have all uniform fences. I don't disagree with you. I enforce people to do that in places where it's in their governing documents everywhere. I just need to understand for my sanity here, you're telling me that all, because there are multiple, that every single property that's within Islander that is enclosed, that is not 36 inches, is not in compliance, and you told me that is correct. So that's great to know. So I'm assuming that all of these properties, and there's multiple, I have 3 in mind right now that are enclosed and are not 36. I'm assuming that their fences are either going to be removed or shrunk too. Cool. All right. Got it.
I'm confused. Again, there's some weird dialogue going on in here that it's just going to go on and on. I mean, respectfully, out of respect of everybody, it's clear what needed to be done on this, and we're talking around it as neighbors. But to me, all you had to do is walk around in 5 minutes in the community. And what stinks here, because I am an architect by trade, is that the original submittal should have had an elevation that clearly showed the product and the height clearly, so we're all not in this situation, which would have been even better. But it does say match, and there's a height. And then you're arguing it because it stinks to be in that situation. Something wasn't built right because it doesn't match the existing picket fences. I mean, it took 5 minutes for my girlfriend and I to walk around and see that. And I thought that the purpose is you're looking for loopholes and angles and throwing out attorneys, and that's not going to help anybody because I think the position's made, and I'm speaking as our committee. It's approved. The first application criteria was clear and approved. The second one's not. And I guess we got to do that formal response, and I guess
why would we have approved the first one if it wasn't, if we weren't happy with it? We were happy with it.
Yeah,
But
that's
what
like
we
somebody.
have now
it's
is
like,
different. and we can.
It's like
discuss
somebody
all
said
along that
they
something is gonna happen. So do I hear a motion for an adjournment?
No, because I have another issue. This is an ARP bill I want to raise. What are you
If
doing?
it doesn't include, if it doesn't apply to what we're doing today, then
I'm putting this to you as board members. What are you doing about 360th fence that is both high and
this is not on the agenda today. I'm sorry.
That's even taken over.
You can talk about it. Unless it applies to what we're discussing today, it's not appropriate for discussion.
It's the fact that we believe that you're not acting correctly. It applies that we believe that you don't actually seem to understand what the law is surrounding the role that you have, and also that you are not complying with statutes or dealing with people fairly.
Well, that's your opinion, and then you're welcome to it. But the bottom line is, this is not being approved, and nothing is going to change today. We've given you some options on what you can do.
You gave us an option before.
Yeah.
The option we were given was to apply for Article 6, and we did. And we only did that out of a courtesy to you, assuming that you were doing your paperwork.
The only thing
because the
applies
previous board-
is the first one that was that's what we were about. This was not even
You are
necessary.
thinking to retrospectively remove mission from, but you can't because you have no basis.
Well, we're giving you the courtesy to have it as a meeting in the first place because
Because we thought you'd have your lawyer and they would have told you what the law is. But you guys don't seem to know what.
Well, as Rick was saying, it's a simple matter. Why would we need an attorney? It's
You
very
need to know the
simple.
law.
What-
You're meant to be running a
Hey,
profession. You're meant to know.
Well, this is the meeting. Do I have a motion that the meeting is adjourned?
Can I ask one question?
adjourn. It's
No, you
The
can't
meeting
adjourn
is
my
adjourned.
meeting.
The meeting is adjourned.
You just asked us a
I
question,
can,
you
you
can't
cannot
adjourn.
close the meeting.
All right, let me just ask one question. Why did you put a 4-foot fence up? Why?
Because we agreed with. The ARP.
It's 3 foot right
I
on
stood
the art
around
committee.
with them. Why don't we have?
With the paper
Why
that,
don't we have?
the art committee paper that said,
Yes, it was agreed
3
on
feet.
site. We agreed it on site.
you agreed.
No, not you agreed it. You even stood and watched it being installed in there.
I did not watch it, so I was there 5 minutes. I saw people outside.
There a lot longer.
Introduced themselves.
You were like, I'm not saying.
And the guy
you
with
didn't-
the
I'm saying you didn't.
panel set back. But I have a measuring tape. Did I measure it? Like that?
But you saw it was at the height of the fence. was back.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
Oh, wait,
did.
back. I didn't, I'm in the street.
You stood
I
there with.
can't tell if it's four.
Guys,
feet or
we can
from the
discuss
back.
this all day long.
Yeah, I know, you have evidence for everything. You were still in the proper fence on your columns, and you took it down 2 days later after you were notified about that.
Are
You
you-
came at night and you took it
Are
down.
you threatened?
We have
Are you threatened?
No, he's not.
You're acting like that.
But, you know, all right.
You're waiting. You're taking
What-
out. We
This
have.
is ridiculous. The meeting is adjourned.
We're gonna adjourn this
We are
meeting.
going to consider applying.
Laura, Are you still
available
available or are you gone?
No, I'm here. I'm just concerned that he just said he's
Thank you,
filming
Rick.
us at night. Like, what do you mean you're filming us at night? That's what?
You said what? Filming what?
It sounded like he said he's filming us at night and take what?
You're filming us at night?
Isn't that what he just said? That he's filming me and you walking around our house at night?
Yes, he did.
No, I didn't say I was
He
filming
did
nobody.
say that.
I did that.
That's what I heard. If I misheard, I'm sorry.
Part of your fence down one night. The next day.
Okay. Well, you asked us to.
Okay, so.
Laura, we'll leave.
But I didn't know nothing about it.
Catch up with you
That's
next
because it was attached.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up. All right, bye.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I didn't know about it.
You didn't know about
The site.
Yeah, we just took it down. You said you didn't like it.
You took that because you didn't like it?
You guys said you didn't want it.
So they said it wasn't
Well,
on the
it wasn't part of the,
They said it wasn't on the application. We said we thought it came under furniture.
Okay,
We said we thought it came under furniture because it wasn't, because it was precious.
But-
And they
but-
said no, so we took it down.
We do have to say, this is this is so ridiculously unexpected and out of order. The two previous ARC members spent ages on site that's going through that document that was just so this is the general outline of what we're thinking about. They came on site, both of them, and they said, well, don't do that, do this, don't do that, do that, don't do this, do this. And then we said, fine. And then that's what we did.
I mean, none of this is done with bad intent. Absolutely none of it. You know, and when you guys came and said, we had a bit of fencing left over, and we have grandchildren who were coming to the house because the house was being looked at and there were gaps, and we just put them and stood them there. Mark had put them in these things that you can put them in and out, and then you wrote, fair enough, and you said, you shouldn't have had that there. And we said, no, all right, okay, we'll take that. We didn't really want to.
And we also liaised
Okay, we'll take that.
with the on what we could put there as an alternative.
Yeah.
And because
I mean,
the
that's
dogs and the children could walk through the house and the fence, and so we put an invisible fence on the inside of the bush.
The black metal. I saw that, but
It's to stop the
I'm
whole.
okay with that, you don't see it.
Well, the whole point of the fence was to keep dogs in. Which the next line.
Well, that's the purpose of the 3-foot fence that the other people put out.
That's not official property.